evening, everyone. Welcome to the next session for this evening, whose death we all have really grieved a lot. A life in literature in tribute to Nabaneeta Dev Sen. Our panelists for this session will be Soumitra Chatterjee, somebody who hardly needs any introduction, but then just for the sake of it, Soumitra Chatterjee is a renowned Indian film and stage actor, reciter, poet, and artist. We also have Aparna once again, Antara once again, Nandana Samik Bandyopadhyay and Anjum Katyal, who is the consultant director of the Apeejay Kolkata Literary Festival. She was previously the chief editor of Seagull Books, Calcutta, and editor of Seagull Theatre Quarterly, a published poet. She also sings the blues and writes on theatre and the visual arts. Please welcome on stage Soumitra Chatterjee, Aparna Antara Nandana Samik Bandyopadhyay, Anjum Katyal. Handing over the mic to the moderator for this session, Anjum Katyal. Thank you so much.
Namaskar and welcome to this evening's session, in which we are paying tribute to a very, very beloved lady of letters, woman of letters, who left us a little over 2 months ago, Nabaneeta Dev Sen. Nabaneeta Di, in the time that she was working in all the various aspects of literature that she engaged herself with, became one of the most respected, esteemed, popular and beloved writers in Bangla that Calcutta and Bengal has known for a long time. We have, as you know, on stage, as you can see on stage, people who have in different ways been involved with her, either by virtue of having been born as her daughters, Antara and Nandana, who in their own right are both actually very, very much involved with the world of literature and writing and books, and as old friends and fellow scholars, fellow researchers, people who've worked in the cultural field. There's Samik, there's Soumitra, there's Reenadi, and they have all got very long and close relationships with Nabaneeta Di. So getting them all together, getting us all together on the stage to remember her. She's just had a birthday. She would have been, what, 82. And we still feel that she went too early, because Nabaneeta Di was so in the thick of everything. And therefore, it seems appropriate that in this first literary festival, after we lose her, we must pay some very important homage and tribute to Nabaneeta Di. Having said that, I would like to start by inviting Samik to talk to us about Nabaneeta Di as a person of the world of books, writing, and literature. Samik, will you take that?
I came to know Nabaneeta at college. She was 3 years senior to me. I was in the first year and she was in the 4th year in college. And as far as I can recall, the first time I saw the name, recognized it, was in a World magazine that used to be published in those days in Presidency College, which was edited by Ketuki Kushari Dyson. And in one of the early issues, it had a poem by Nabaneeta Dev. That was the beginning. At one point of time, we became neighbors. In fact, in that fascinating series of columns that came out as Bhalo Bashar Baranda, in one of the earliest columns, she refers to me as her neighbor on Hindustan Park, and it was just across the road. She was on one side, I was on the other. And in her piece, she writes how she could talk to me from one veranda to another veranda. In that title she gave to her series of columns, Bhalo Bashar Baranda, there was a store of meanings. The house in which she lived, her father, Narendra Deb, and her mother, Radharani Devi, their house, they had called it Bhalo, good, Basha, home, with a hyphen in between. Bhalo, Basha. And if you take the hyphen out, in Bangla it means love. What is love after all but living the good? And somehow, all Nabaneeta's writings and thoughts revolved around that whole idea of a good, civilized home with a lot of sharing. In that remarkable first novel, which still remains one of my favorites of her writings, Ami Onupam, written very early in her literary career, she brings in a character at the center of it who had started life in Dojipara, in North Bengal, in North Calcutta, very, very common middle-class city part, and slowly starts moving on, climbing the social ladder to a point where choices come her way. And with that brilliant metaphor of this man losing his voice and standing before a choice where he can write independently or surrender to the media barons and write according to their diktats. Standing between the two, he goes back to family memories, the home, the good home, the home of wellness. And he gathers strength, resources from the memories and associations, and slowly, not dramatically, not in any heightened manner, but slowly moves back to his voice. The voice in the throat still lies endangered, but there's an operation ahead. But the voice of conscience that still remains free at the end. But all surrounded by a home. The home extended in Nabaneeta's imagination to the community, the neighborhood. And she went on creating neighborhoods. Late in life, it became one of his missions, one of his passions, to mobilize around herself women writers in Bengali. And characteristically, she called the group Shoi, friends, intimate friends, a community of friends among the young writers. She promoted them, she helped them get published, she shared ideas with them, her criticism with them, and again went on creating yet another community, a creative community. From community to community to community, this was Nabaneeta's life's work. The first time I came to know her closely and started becoming a friend began in 1973 in Mysore when we met for a seminar on narratives and comparative levels of narrative, where she gave her celebrated piece, which was later translated by herself as Ishorer Pratidwandi, a rival to God, an excellent probing study of two doctors, one in Camus' The Plague and the other in Manik Bandyopadhyay's Putul Nachariti Kotha. A fabulous comparison between cultures and civilizations, and looking at the doctor, the medical man, as a person who creates or builds a community, serves a community, or retracts from the community in shock and horror. The entirety of life, but looking at it through communities. That seems to me, if I have to sum up Nabaneeta's life work, maybe the key to her imagination and her spirit of life, which remained unencumbered and uncluttered till the very end. In one of the last pieces that he wrote for a column, she could talk about challenging cancer and challenging it to a direct fight. That was Nabaneeta. And I think it would be in the fitness of things if I read out a poem that Nabaneeta wrote in 2002, immediately after the genocide in Gujarat. And her best poems, or rather her selected poems, they're called Shreshto Kobita in Bangla. A new edition was coming out, and at the last moment, he insisted that this should be the last poem of that edition that came out in late 2002. I'll read out that poem. It's called Najma. সেই মেয়েটির অনেক দূরে বাসা, সেই মেয়েটির তরুণ যুবক স্বামী হঠাৎ উধাও অফিস যাবার পথে। ঠিক ছিল আজ বিকেল বেলায় ফিরে বউকে নিয়ে টিভি কিনতে যাবে। বউ জানেনি, যায়নি অফিস স্বামী, জানে না, তাই নাস্তা রেডি করা। অফিস থেকে ফিরতে দেরি দেখে মান হয়েছে, ঠোঁট ফুলেছে বউয়ের, আজকেও তার কাজের তাড়া এত। আজকে ওরা কিনবে রঙিন টিভি, অফিস থেকে ধার পাওয়া খুব সোজা। সদ্য ধারে কিনেছে লাল স্কুটার, এই তো সবে ঘর সংসার শুরু, অল্পে স্বল্পে হিসেব করে চলা। সকাল সকাল ফিরতে হবে কিনা, যাচ্ছিল তাই সকাল সকাল উঠে। অফিস আবার 30 কিলোমিটার, বাজার থেকে অনেকটা পথ দূরে, আসতে যেতেই নষ্ট সময় বহু। হঠাৎ কারা ধরল পথের মাঝে, হ্যাচকা টানে নামিয়ে নিল নিচে। একটা দুটো 10টা মানুষ, কারা? ওদের সঙ্গে নেই তো চেনাশোনা, ওদের সঙ্গে নেই তো রেশারেশি। কি হলো যে কিছুই হলো কিনা, বোঝার আগেই পেট্রোল ট্যাঙ্ক থেকে তেল বেরুলো। যুবক শ্রমের গায়ে তেল ছড়ালো, ফুল ছড়ানোর মতো কে ছোঁয়ালো দেশলাইয়ের কাঠি। জ্বলল শরীর, জ্বলল যুবক স্বামী, ছটফটিয়ে ছটফটিয়ে খাক। অট্টহাস্যে মাতল বালক বুড়ো, জয় শ্রীরামের, জয় বজরংবলী। জ্যান্ত মানুষ দেখ না কেমন বাজির মতন পড়ে। সেই মেয়েটির অনেক দূরে বাসা, জানলা ধরে দাঁড়িয়ে গোটা রাতে। পাশের বাড়ির কেউ বলেনি তাকে, বর ফেরেনি অফিস থেকে কেন। জানত সবাই নাজমা একা বাদে। পরের দিনেই কাঁপল গোটা পাড়া, পুলিশ এলেন, এনজিওরাও এলেন। নাজমা, দেখো এই ছবিটা কার? এই ছবিটা মানুষ নাকি এটা? নাজমা বলে, না, চিনি না ওকে। নাজমা, তবে এই যে স্কুটার খানা, এই নম্বর, এইটা চেনো নাকি? হাহাকারের দুরন্ত ঝড় তুলে জ্ঞান হারিয়ে আছড়ে পড়ে মেয়ে, ওই স্কুটারের সওয়ার, সে তার চেনা। এই তো সবে কিনলো আজিজ ওটা, বাচ্চা হবে এই সেপ্টেম্বরে। ছোটাছুটির অনেক আছে কিনা। নরোদা থেকে 30 কিলোমিটার দূরের অফিস, তাই তো স্কুটার কেনা। দারিয়া খানের শিবিরে নাজমাকে ইঞ্জেকশন ঘুম পাড়িয়ে রাখে। চোখ মেললেই দপদপিয়ে জলে রক্ত মাংস চামড়ার এক ডালা। নাজমা, দেখো এই কি তোমার স্বামী? নাজমা তবু সাবধানে খুব থাকে, খুব চেষ্টায়, ভয় তাড়িয়ে বাঁচে। সরস্বতী কেন বলেছেন তাকে, হার মেনো না, শক্ত হয়ে থাকো, এই পৃথিবীর বদল হতেই হবে। নাজমা, ওটাই নয়, নয় শেষ কথা। আমরা আছি হাত ধরে তোর পাশে, পাপের ভরা পূর্ণ পৃথিবীতে এবার বাঁচার একটাই পথ, ওঠা। অধঃপাতের ঠাঁই আছে আর কোথা? আর গতি নেই ঊর্ধ্বগতি ছাড়া। নাজমা, তোমায় ভাঙলে তো চলবে না। নাজমা, তোমায় বৃক্ষ হতেই হবে। ভালোবাসায় ভর করে তুই দাঁড়া, আমরা হব পায়ের তলার মাটি। তোর চোখে আর কি করে চোখ তুলি? তুই দেখেছিস ত্রিশূল মেধা ভ্রূণ। নাজমা, তোমার নির্জলা চোখ জানি, কিন্তু এবার বুক ভেসে যাক দুধে, নতুন মানুষ আসছে তোমার কোলে। আমরা ওকে অন্য জগৎ দেব, প্রতিজ্ঞাতে বুক বেঁধে তুই দাঁড়া। অন্য জগৎ এই মাটিতেই আছে, আমরা ওকে আস্ত আকাশ দেব। নাজমা, আকাশ বজ্রেও ভাঙবে না।
Thank you, Samik for that very, very powerful reading. It brought Nabaneeta right into the middle of what's happening today, and I'm sure that she would have really, really appreciated that. By starting with reading a poem of Nabaneeta, Samikda has actually brought us straight to one of the most powerful forms in which she wrote, which was her poetry. And I would like to now invite Soumitra, who has very, very kindly agreed to join us, to please read some of her poems and maybe to speak a little bit about her.
নমস্কার। পিতৃপুরুষদের উদ্দেশ্যে। বড় বৈঠকখানাটা রাত্রে পেরুতে ভয় করত। ঝাড়লণ্ঠন যখন জ্বলত না, ঘরজোড়া অন্ধকার ভেদ করে তাকিয়ে থাকতো সারিবন্দি ঝকঝকে চোখ পিতামহদের। নড়ে উঠত কারো কাঁধের শালের ভাঁজ, লাঠির হাতলে দাঁত দেখাতো রূপোর বাঘ, যেন সবটুকু অক্সিজেন গিলে ফেলত উঁচু উঁচু তেল রং অন্ধকারে। যুগান্তরের উদ্ধত তর্জনী, বুকের মধ্যে হাতুড়ির ঘা, চুরি করা তেঁতুল ছড়া লুকিয়ে পড়া মোহন সিরিজ নিমেষে বেআব্রু হতো। চোখ বুজে এক দৌড়ে পেরিয়ে যেতুম অন্দরের দিকে। হে পিতৃপুরুষ সকল, এত বড় বৈঠকখানা পার হয়ে যাচ্ছি, এই ঘন কৃষ্ণ অন্ধকারে কি তোমাদের সাদা চোখ একবারও ঝলসে উঠবে না? পানি গ্রহণ। কাছে থাকো, ভয় করছে। মনে হচ্ছে এই মুহূর্ত বুঝি সত্য নয়। ছুঁয়ে থাকো, শ্মশানে যেমন থাকে দেহ, ছুঁয়ে একান্ত স্বজন। এই হাত, এই নাও হাত, এই হাত ছুঁয়ে থাকো, যতক্ষণ কাছাকাছি আছো অস্পৃষ্ট রেখো না। ভয় করে, মনে হয় এই মুহূর্ত বুঝি সত্য নয়, যেমন অসত্য ছিল দীর্ঘ গতকাল, যেমন অসত্য হবে অনন্ত আগামী। স্লিপ ওয়াকার। ঘুমের ভিতরে তুমি হেঁটে হেঁটে কত দূরে গেছো? বুকের গুহাতে বুঝি ঘন ঘোর ঢাকের ইঙ্গিতে জরুরি তলব এসেছিল। ডিউটি শেষ, ফিরে যেতে হবে। ঘুমের ভিতরে তাই হেঁটে হেঁটে কত দূরে গেছো? ঘুমের গভীরে আরো নীল ঘুমে, নীলতর স্বপ্নের বাগানে, নক্ষত্রের ভিতর বাড়িতে, লীলাময় আগ্নেয় পুষ্পের মধ্যে, ফনা তোলা বেগুনি হলুদে ঘোর লালে, কুণ্ডলিত তাম্র শ্যামে, ধাতব ফুলঝুরি হয়ে পৌঁছে গেছো সুস্থির স্বদেশে, চির নিরাপদ। ঘুমের ভিতরে কোন দীর্ঘতম পথে হেঁটে গেলে দিক চিহ্ন হারা, পদশব্দহীন রাত্রি নয়, প্রভাত ছিল না, এ গ্রহের কাজ বুঝি সারা। বিদায় নেওয়ার মতো এক তিল সময় পেলে না, এত তাড়া ছিল স্বদেশে ফেরার। আর সবশেষে আরেকটি কবিতা পড়ছি, আমলকি শিমুল। যেতে 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 হঠাৎ কখনো ট্রেন থেকে নেমে যাব ধূপ ছায়া আমলকি আধারে, পথের দুধারে শুধু চন্দ্রকান্ত মণির মতন জোছনা গলা আমলকির ফল, ঝুমঝুম মহুয়ার হাওয়া। চুম্বনের প্রতিধ্বনি ভেঙে দেবে অরণ্যের ঘুম, চমকিত ডানা মেলে আমলকি বনের ময়ূর, আধো খাওয়া ফল ছেড়ে উড়ে যাবে অযোধ্যা পাহাড়ে। আমলকির বন থেকে পথ যাবে শিমুল তলায়। সময় হয়েছে বুঝে হঠাৎ না বলে ট্রেন থেকে নেমে যাব প্রস্তুতিবিহীন, টুপ করে ঝরে যাব প্রতীক্ষায় সবুজ মাটিতে, শ্বেত শুভ্র আমলকির ফলের মতন। অথবা কে জানে, হয়তো রক্তারক্তি বিচ্যুত শিমুলে।
Thank you, Soumitra da. There's nothing like hearing the poetry in the original language. Even if you can't follow everything, there is something about with the cadence and the rhythm that really holds you. Thank you very much. Staying with the poetry, Reena Di also wanted to read some of the most beloved poems that she has liked about Nabaneeta Di's, from Nabaneeta Di's writing. So may I ask you to do that?
Yes, I
Thanks.
think the best way to celebrate Nabaneeta Di is to read her poetry. And of course, her prose as well. But somehow, to me, she was foremost a poet. And I've never known anybody to defy age in the way Nabaneeta Di did. to defy age, disease, everything. And this is one poem called Sundarbon, which I think really, in a way, reminds me very much of Nabaneeta Di. ওরা ভাবছে চুলের বনে হাঁক দিয়েছে রূপলি বাঘ, ওরা ভাবছে রূপ ভেঙেছে, এবার কেবল রূপরই হাঁক, এবার বুঝি অন্য সপাক, ওরা জানে না। ওরা কি জানে রূপের নিচে লুকিয়ে আছে আরেকটা রূপ, সেই রূপটাই জ্যান্ত ভীষণ, হেতাল পাতার মধ্যে যেমন ঘাপটি মারা বাঘের ডোরা, চলতে ফিরতে প্রাণের তলায় আড়াল থেকে আলতো ঝাঁপায় আছড়ে মারে, ঘাড় ভেঙে দেয় আরেকটা প্রাণ, কি দুর্দান্ত। বাইন গাছের ডালকে যেমন আঁকড়ে ঝোলে মৌমাছি চাক, মধু বেবাক, বিষের জ্বালা সইতে পারলে, ধৈর্য ধরে রইতে পারলে, আপনি তোমার মধুর হাঁড়ি ভর্তি হবে। ওরা কি জানে মহাল ভাঙা, ওরা জানে না চুলের মধ্যে রূপলি হাঁক, বুকের মধ্যে সোনালি চাক, রূপটা কেবল বাইরে থেকে ভেতরে যায়, রূপ ভাঙে না, ওরা জানে না। খাঁড়ির জলে ভর্তি কামট, দাঁত ধারালো, ও জলে হাত দিও না, পা দিও না, স্নান করো না, ও জলে মরণ কামট ভরা, হেই সামালো। কিন্তু তোমার নৌকা তাতেই বাইতে হবে, হেই ওহো, ভাটার টানে সেই জলেতেই আল্লাহ বলে প্রাণের দায়ে ঝাঁপ দিয়ে গুণ টানতে হবে, হেই ওহো। না জানে তো এসব খবর, ওদের এবার জানতে হবে, হেই ওহো। আরেকটা কবিতা শোনাই, যেটা উনি লিখেছিলেন স্বর্গীয় অতীন্দ্রনাথ দত্ত স্মরণে। কোনোদিন ভাবিনি যে আমি নবনীতাদির উদ্দেশ্যে এই কবিতাটা পড়ব বা নবনীতাদির কথা ভেবে পড়ব। আমার মায়ের কাছে আমি ফিরে যাব, হে পর্বত, হে অরণ্য, পুণ্যতোয়া নদী, হে সপ্তর্ষি, অরুন্ধতী, হে ধ্রুব তারকা, তোমরা সাক্ষী থাকো আমার যাত্রায়, তোমরা সঙ্গী থাকো আমার যাত্রায়, আমার মায়ের কাছে আমি ফিরে যাব। হে পিতা, হে জ্যোতির্ময় নক্ষত্রমণ্ডলী, আমার মায়ের কাছে আমি ফিরে যাব। হে জননী, হে কল্যাণী পৃথিবী আমার, তোমার গর্ভের মধ্যে আমি ফিরে যাব, জ্যোতির্ময় বীজ হয়ে, নক্ষত্রের ভ্রূণ হয়ে আজ আমি ফিরে যাব। হে পর্বত, হে অরণ্য, পুণ্যতোয়া নদী, অঞ্জলি গ্রহণ করো আজ, আমার সর্বস্ব আমি তোমাদের সমর্পণ করি। মধু বায়ু, মধু জল, মধুর ধুলিতে অগ্রহায়ণ আমি তোমাদের উৎসর্গিত করি। জন্মান্তের পূর্ণ ফল এই জন্মদিন, তৃপ্ত হও ত্রিভুবন, তৃপ্ত হও সকল পুরুষ। আমার নিজস্ব বলতে শুধু জন্ম, শুধু জন্মদিন, আমার সর্বস্ব বলতে শুধু জন্ম, শুধু জন্মদিন। পূর্ণ থেকে পূর্ণ নিলে শুনেছি তো পূর্ণ বাকি থাকে। হে পর্বত, হে অরণ্য, পুণ্যতোয়া নদী, এখন আমাকে তোমরা যে কোনো বেনামে ডাকতে পারো। পবিত্র বা অপবিত্র হই, পুণ্ডরীকাক্ষের নামে জন্মদিন ফিরে দিয়ে আমি ভিতরে বাহিরে সূচি, নতুন জন্মের মধ্যে মার কোলে ঠিক ফিরে যাব। শেষ কবিতাটি পড়ছি সৌমিত্রর কাছ থেকে ছিনিয়ে নিয়ে। এটা আমার খুব মনে হলো আজকে পড়ার উপযুক্ত সময়। এবার আমাকে তবে গ্রহণ করো কলকাতা, আমি তোমার প্রেম, তোমার পৃথিবী, ব্যূহ ভেঙেই তো ফিরেছি। মৃতবৎসা, সসাগরা, শূন্যকোল, অথচ দুধের ভারে অবনত স্তনী। এই দেখো তলহীন লবণাম্বু রাশি দুই চোখে। এসো তবে চেয়ে দেখো, কৌমার্য সন্ধ্যা সূর্য হয়ে কপালে জ্বলছে দীপ্র। ছুঁয়ে দেখো নবনীত তনু, আজ তোমারই সম্পদ। আমাকে তবে গ্রহণ করো কলকাতা, তোমার বিরহ দশা ঘুচল এবারে। যেমনটি চেয়েছিলে অবিকল তেমনি ফিরেছি। তবে কেন রুদ্ধ বাক, স্তব্ধ দৃষ্টি, কেন বিহ্বলতা? মুখ তোলো, চেয়ে দেখো, সরিও না চোখ। প্রার্থনায় সাড়া দিয়ে এই যে এসেছি, আমি তোমার সেই চির আকাঙ্ক্ষিতা বাল্য সখী, পুরাতনী শিখা, তোমারই নিজস্ব নবনীতা।
Thank you, Reenadi. As Reenadi quite correctly said, and a lot of people agree, poetry was one of the central and the most important mediums through which Nabaneeta Di wrote. But I think it's also true that she is beloved by, for a lot of other reasons, by a lot of people, including her more personal writing, including her humor, and of course the research-based academic work she also undertook. So I'd like to invite Antara to pick something that you would like to read of your mother's, another facet of her writing, and maybe talk a little bit about what it is that attracts you.
Do you want to do Chandrapati first?
No. If there's time.
Thank you, Anjum. Thank you, Anjum, for organizing this. Thank you, Maina. Thank you, AKLF. Nandana and I are very, very grateful and touched for all of this. Thank you, Soumitra. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you, Samik Mama. I'm going to read bits of a part of a Bengali story that Monsieur Hulor Holiday bole maar ekta গল্প ছিল, সেটা 70-এর দশকে লেখা। আমি এটাকে অনুবাদ করেছিলাম তাও 30 বছর আগে, 1990-এ ওটা বেরিয়েছিল কোথাও অনুবাদটা। সেটা থেকে একটু একটু পড়ছি যাতে ইংরেজিটা যাতে সবাই বুঝতে পারি। মসিও হুলোজ হলিডে বলে একটা ফরাসি সিনেমা ছিল, সেটার নাম থেকে নেওয়া মসিও হুলোর হলিডে। I was just about to put my daughters to bed when it happened. The quiet night air was suddenly torn apart by an inhuman wailing. It wasn't very far from us. In fact, it was alarmingly close. The sound rose right behind me, or so it seemed. What on earth could it be? A careful, fearful listening gradually revealed the identity of the mysterious presence. A cat. A cat? What? A cat in our house? In this paradise of all rodents? Families of mice live here happily, nesting safely amid the endless books and journals entrusted to me by my dead father. Even field rats come in and play about with my friendly, non-violent dog on the living room carpet. Gradually, the wailing increased. It became almost human. No, not a cat. I discarded the thought. It could only be a ghost, and ghosts don't matter. We know, thanks to Poe, that ghosts occasionally develop a weird practice of cat-like wailing from within solid walls. I tried to pay no attention and continued with the fairy tale. But the wail took on greater dimensions and became impossible to ignore. It sounded more and more like a vehement protest. This could hardly be a ghost. It had to be a desperately angry tomcat. But where could it be? Mother, there's a cat under my bed, announced daughter number 1. Please, may we just peep under the bed, piped up daughter number 2. This is all a long time ago, all right? We are now totally changed and very respectable, dignified people. No, we're not. Please, let's take a look. It's crying, came a joint appeal. It must be caught somewhere. Let's free it. Obviously, fairy tales interested them no more. Far more exciting things were happening in their lives at that moment. In a minute, they were up and out of bed, prancing around, opening and shutting drawers and wardrobes, slamming doors and windows, pulling chairs and screaming, in here, over there, by the window, outside the window. The cat remained invisible. But my two daughters were fully and vigorously visible as well as audible. Not unexpectedly, my dear mother appeared on the scene in her wheelchair. An icy voice demanded, "What exactly is going on here?" "A cat, Grandma, a lost cat. It's crying for its mummy." "Where is it?" "Outside the window, in the ventilator, under the mattress, in the refrigerator." Excited suggestions kept pouring in. The cook and the maid had joined the crew. Our friendly, non-violent dog, the first in the family to go to bed, was up too and had joined the fun, madly rushing around, getting under everyone's feet, whining and barking alternately. The room bustled with activity. The noise seemed to come from the window, but there was no sill for a cat to rest on. It could be coming from the small, high ventilator above it, but this was on a second-floor room. A cat could not be outside. "Must be stranded on the cornice outside the ventilator," announced my mother, who knew there was a cornice on top of the ventilator since she had had the house built. We had never thought of its existence. But how could a featherless quadruped have gotten up there? Aren't their movements rather restricted? "Ah, cats, you don't know what leaps they are capable of. Go and look down from the third-floor balcony. You'll find him on the cornice below," announced Madame Hercule Poirot from her wheelchair. A wild dash up the stairs, I, my kids, the cook, the maid, the dog, each competing with the other to reach the balcony first. Leaning from the third-floor balcony, I found, sure enough, a couple of 20-carat emeralds sparkling diabolically from a bundle of rather solid darkness, darker than the night itself. "Who is it?" I screamed rather pointlessly, and the wailing stopped. Instead came a threatening growl. "Meow! Goodness gracious, not he, not here. It's Monsieur Hulot, the terrible, no doubt. We all know that the famous snarl." This was, sorry, I'm just going to skip bits so that we can get more in. There was nothing domestic about this particular domestic animal, formerly known as an alley cat. Huge and ferocious, he didn't care for mortal beings. Raven black, tough as a wild boar, totally unorthodox, independent, measuring about 3 feet, tail included. Monsieur Hulot walks about like Alexander the Great. What style, what majesty, what grandeur. One could almost see the army marching behind him. We are quite sure Monsieur Hulot is the missing link between the common cat and the Royal Bengal tiger. But how did the monsieur get here? On that narrow cornice beneath our third-floor balcony? And when? Eventually, the cook disclosed that 2 days earlier, when the monsieur had returned to our kitchen again to catch fish, the cook and the maid gave him such fierce chase that the monsieur had seen no way out but to leap blindly over the third-floor balcony into the vast unknown. Luckily, he had landed on the cornice, which was uncharted territory for cat folk. The cook had tried his best to get him out, but his efforts had failed, and he had kept him supplied with bread soaked in milk and some fish bones. Surely we didn't want a creature of Lord Krishna to die on us. It would be very inauspicious for the house. But a quiet, secluded existence with a limited food supply was not Monsieur Hulot's idea of life, hence today's rebellion. Trapped on the suffocatingly small space of a cornice over a window, Monsieur felt restricted, angry, claustrophobic, helpless, and hungry. But above all, he felt deeply humiliated. He had not touched the food rationed out for him since last night. He was on a hunger strike. Next, he sent out furious SOS messages all over, calling for help. However disruptive he might be for human society, Monsieur Hulot had to be rescued. Suggestions poured in. Shibu announced, "What's the problem? 4 of us will hold Mashima's big mosquito net out in the courtyard below, and you can push him off the cornice with a bamboo pole, and we'll catch him in the net, circus style." "Oh no," shuddered Shibu's Mashima, my mother, that is. "Not that one. It's 30 years old and the cat weighs a ton. It will be the end of both. Use the new bed sheet. That's strong enough." I was rather scared. What if the cat fell outside the bed sheet? I know they are always supposed to land on their paws, but from such a height? No, I could not push him off the cornice. What about lowering a ladder instead? Cats, unlike cows, do climb stairs. The ladder was let down and strongly secured, tied to the railings and ropes so that the grand monsieur would be safe. We disappeared into the room and lay in wait, barely daring to breathe. The wailing stopped, but no sign of the cat. The clock ticked on. The howling began again, and how deep pathos welled from his notes. "Ma, the cat is weeping," my daughters began. "It's very bad for the household, you know, ma'am," said the maid. "This howling of black cats at night, it brings bad luck, even death, to the house. He must be silenced immediately." I know, but how?" The maid started praying. "God is the only savior of stranded stray cats on hunger strike in Hindu households. The poor cat is so terrified he's lost his natural instincts," declared mother. "He has forgotten the technique of climbing altogether." "Then someone must get down there and carry him up here," daughter number 1 chirpily suggested. "But who?" asked the more practical daughter number 2. But who was the question. Monsieur Hulot was no pet tiger in a forest reserve. He was a really tough guy. Shibu paled. "Me, on that narrow cornice, you want me to fall to my death?" We had forgotten that Shibu had vertigo. The maid calmly ordered the cook to wind his dhoti tightly around his waist and descend carefully. "It might be mossy," she warned. "Why don't you pull your sari around your waist and descend carefully instead?" came the cook's curt reply. The avalanche the maid let loose through her toothless snarl prompted me to volunteer. "No big deal, this. I once climbed on the south face of the Matterhorn. Am I afraid of this puny little bit of concrete?" Fixing my sari as advised by the cook, tying my hair up into a tight top knot, I was ready in half a second. Ready, steady, just waiting for a go or a no. And the monsieur might scratch my eyes out and bite my nose off, and so I gravely demanded a safety blanket in which I intended to wrap him before he could start functioning. As soon as the words escaped my mouth, I found myself heavily weighed down, a daughter dangling from each arm, registering firm and vigorous objections and making me look like a jackfruit tree in season. "Mother is sure to slip and fall," they said in chorus. This naked lack of confidence in me was saddening. My image in their eyes did not seem to live up to my expectations. "Remember the time I forgot the keys and climbed up the drain pipe?" I tried to promote myself. "But this is no drain pipe. It's Monsieur Hulot. He'll surely push you off the edge, mother." Monsieur Hulot's plaintive notes had reached unbearable depths of pathos. Anyway, so I'm skipping again. Suddenly, I had a brainstorm. The fire department, of course. They are the ones who solve such out-of-the-world problems as God can't solve. And what could be luckier? Just around the corner, we had the sleepiest fire station in the universe. Now then, Shibu Mama is sent off, and he comes back and says, they won't come because they're not supposed to save cats. So then we have a problem. Shibu Mama says, "You try to convince them yourself." And Ma tried to get Ma tried up the Calcutta, called up the Calcutta Fire Department in order to persuade them. The silence of a winter's night is shattered by a phone call to the main office of the Calcutta Fire Department. A distressed female voice pleads, "Would you be kind enough to give me the phone number of your fire station at such and such a place?" "Where's the fire?" "Well, it isn't a fire, really. Something else, very urgent." "What is it?" "Well, actually, someone, you know, has slipped and fallen. Well, he must be rescued immediately." "Who has slipped? Fallen into what? From where?" "Now look here, ma'am, we don't take up cases of drowning anymore." Shibu's frantic advice in the background. "Didi, tell them it's tame. They won't come if you don't tell them it's your pet." "He hasn't drowned. He's fallen onto the second floor cornice and is very dangerously perched there." "How big is the baby?" "Shibu, tell them it's tame." "Well, it's extremely tame, you see." "What? A tame baby?" "What baby?" "A tame cat." "Now, just a minute. This happens to be a fire station, not a cat catching center. Call the CSPCA. "Oh, no, of course, we do appreciate all you do for us. Of course, we know how terribly busy you are. But you see, for the last 2 days, this cat, our very own pet cat, you know, has been stranded on this unapproachable cornice. We can't get to him. He's dying out there." "I'm very sorry to hear that, but one should not keep the fire brigade busy with cats." But this does happen in other places. One depends on the fire department for help during accidents like this. Forget about other countries, ma'am, this is India. Why other countries? It happens in Bombay. Didn't you see it in the papers? This cat was stuck on the roof and finally they called up the fire station. He must have blocked up a chimney or something. There must have been some sound practical reason behind it. Couldn't have been just human sympathy for cats. Oh, please, there is nothing wrong with human sympathy, you know. Do it out of pity this time. One can't kill a cat in a Hindu household. It brings bad luck. I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is impossible for us. This is the season for fireworks, with the Diwali festival ahead. What if there was a massive fire somewhere and our men were busy with your cat on the cornice? The fire station on our street has quite a few engines, and I've never seen in my entire life all of them go out at the same time. Your house is on a street with a fire station right next to it. Then why don't you go over or send someone, etc.? It goes on. So they give the number. So then Ma calls up the fire station. Hello, is this a fire station? Yes, may I help you? A repeat performance of the previous conversation. I'm sorry, but I cannot risk the life of one of my men for a cat. Oh no, of course not, but how does risk come in? What if our man slips and falls? Dear me, why should the poor fellow fall? The cornice is wide enough. I know. A pet becomes pretty much like one's own kid, but even if my man sprains his ankle, listen, can you hear the deadly screaming? And then it goes on and describes how the screaming is and all of that. Then finally, Ma says, I would have got down myself, but unfortunately my daughters are scared, and my mother is a rather nervous person. I would have got down ages ago. Meanwhile, my eyes had truly begun to sting, and my voice was choking. Don't you dare climb down in a sari, ma'am. That would be extremely dangerous. What else can I do? Obviously, there is no gallant, tender-hearted, unselfish young man in your office who would take pity on a cat, and there's none in my house. If you want my honest opinion, ma'am, there are hardly any gallant, tender-hearted, selfless young men around anywhere these days. But I'll gently suggest it to my men. There was a pause, and then a determined change in the voice. Oh, all right, give me your address anyway. So then the address is given. In the meantime, someone has got down. Shibu Mama. Oh, so that part is also interesting. Because no one was coming, I got ready to climb down onto the parapet. My mother declared, not in your sari, my dear. Put on some pants if you want to get down there. The very thought of such a sight, of Didi in pants, accomplished what love for a creature of God had not. It prompted the agonized cook to volunteer hastily, no, Didi, allow me. Who says chivalry is a thing of the past? No sooner had he got down than the fire engine arrived. Fantastic timing. A joyous chorus of excited voices filled the night air. Someone is already down there. Just as Monsieur Hulot, firmly wrapped in a blanket, was placed in my arms, somehow the fire engine's bell rang out, breaking into the hushed night. God knows what got into the confused, nervous wreck of a cat. He leapt out of my arms and flung himself on the second floor window on a different, quite unapproachable cornice, further off and higher up. Heartbreaking lamentation filled the night air, coming from our room as well as from the street. In a second, they jumped out of the fire engine. Not one, not two, but half a dozen gallant, unselfish, philanthropic, tender-hearted, chivalrous young men. The three-tier ladder dashed out heavenward, ready, steady, and then the crucial question. Who would it be? After all, this was no fire, which was a simple matter of routine. Observing the hesitation, I volunteered. Why don't I go up? Allow me. And I took a step. Before I had finished my sentence or my step, someone, just anyone, had made a frantic scramble up to the second story. Then he turned. Does he bite? So this goes on, but I'll stop here.
Thank you very much. So there you have quintessential Nabaneeta Di, the tongue-in-cheek humor, and the reason why she was so popular, apart from being such a powerfully dramatic writer as well. Nandana, what are you going to share with us?
How much time do I have?
You have about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes.
Not 10 minutes anymore
Okay.
as planned.
Okay, you can take. Shall we allow her 10 minutes? Yes. Democratic vote says you can
Great.
have 10 minutes.
Well, first of all, namaskar. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for organizing this lovely event, and thank you, Soumitra, Rinadi, Samik Mama, for making this celebration so very special. It's very difficult to make selections from Ma's work because, as you pointed out, she was maddeningly prolific and brilliant in everything that she wrote. But since our focus today is the breadth and depth of Ma's writing, I'm going to read some excerpts about writing, excerpts from pieces Ma wrote about the process of writing and the power of poetry. They're very short excerpts, not long at all. The first one is from an essay called First Confidence, Prothom Protyay, which, as you may know, was also the title of her very first book, published when she was barely 20. This essay also has the same title. I was conceived in the womb of one poet and sired by another. Poetry, I suspect, was ruling my stars from the very first moment of my being. I had no way of avoiding its grips. As a child, I thought when one grows up, one writes as a natural process, as most of our family friends who visited us were writers. They were always talking about their new publications or forthcoming books, or the serials they were writing for the journals, or their book reviews. There was a constant current of lively discussions flowing through our house about the act of writing. What would you expect a child born under such circumstances to do but write? Hence, writing was not a conscious choice for me. It was more like an inevitable curse that had descended upon me at the moment of my birth. It was the one thing that I thought I could do. As a child, it was the easiest thing to do, but as I grew up, the act of writing ceased to be an easy job. Writing poetry is a back-breaking task, not idyllic, even when it comes spontaneously to you. Like a hard-to-please guest, poetry causes a lot of strain, completely occupying your mind until it is satisfied with your efforts. I discovered I could never be happy with what I wrote. Hence my terrible habit of writing and rewriting and rewriting any single piece, be it poetry or prose, be it a creative piece or an academic one. I can never meet a deadline. I keep on changing my manuscript even when correcting my proof until the press is in tears and snatches it from my hands. And I know the piece remains full of weak spots which could be improved upon, refined, filled in. So much work always remains undone. I'm always unhappy with the final printed version of my work. Every time a poem comes out, I feel it needed a lot more work. I did not give it my all. Every time a book comes out, I feel it is full of imperfections, published in a hurry. Worse, of course, is to attempt a discourse on one's own creativity. Even worse is to handle the sense of self-importance and self-questioning that invariably comes with it. What has been my literary achievement, after all? Do I deserve this evening? Do I? I am often asked two questions in all my interviews. Number one, you've contributed to so many different genres of Bangla literature: poetry, short story, novel, travelogue, plays, translation, memoirs, literary criticism, and then you have written in different genres for children as well. What do you actually enjoy writing most? And number two, how would you like to be introduced? Terribly hard questions. Like asking, what do you enjoy being most? Daughter, mother, granddaughter, sister, wife, lover, friend? Well, what I think I enjoy most is writing for children. I love to write fairy tales. It allows my imagination complete freedom. My fairy tales have wise queens and clever princesses as heroines. Intelligence, wisdom, and goodness are the resources they use to overcome problems, not weapons. There are no fixed hostilities between communities. All demons are not harmful. There are good demons and bad demons, just like people. Peace and joy, not riches and power, are the ultimate goals in my fairy tales. And question number 2, what do I wish to be introduced as? Well, that depends on to whom I'm being introduced, in what context. In an academic meeting, I suppose professor would be necessary. In a school, I'm a children's writer. But the word poet, I would guess, with all my poet's immodesty, is never irrelevant, no matter where you are being introduced and to whom. No matter what I write, it is always a poet writing. So I guess that would be my preference.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. This is a very, very short piece from an essay called Who is the Mother of These Words? She wrote it in 96. Radharani was 12 when she was married and 12 when she was widowed. But by the time she was 28, she had published 2 volumes of poetry, well reviewed everywhere, co-edited the first anthology of modern Bangla poems, and married its co-editor, another poet. It was 1931. I started with the story of Radharani because we are talking here about women, poetry, and freedom. And she is the nearest woman I know for whom poetry was freedom. In her upper caste Hindu home, Radharani was not allowed to go back to school at 12. She was forced to lead the austere life of a widow. But the girl could write poetry. She created a new life for herself, staying within the confines of her home by sending her poems to the major literary journals of her time. Radharani soon became a familiar name to the readers. Thus, she carved out a space for herself in a society where she was not wanted and earned a public voice where widowhood meant silence. When Radharani's daughter's husband left her, she returned with 2 children to Calcutta. It was so hard to attend social functions. The questions, the glances, the stares, the ogles. A divorced woman interests many sections of our society, each for a different reason. Doubts, suspicions, hatred, fear, curiosity, animosity, and hopeful amorous advances, all these are responses to be faced by a woman fallen from grace. It was enough to teach me my place in society. That is, I had no positive space allotted to me. I had to slink away from public gaze. But 20 years from that day, look how things have changed for me. It's all because of poetry. As I am grateful to my mother's poetry, which opened the door for me to walk through, I am equally grateful to my foremothers in the villages of India, who are still singing the songs of Sita and Draupadi and narrating our own life stories. A very personal account? Oh yes, of course. With us women, the personal is political. With us women, love and revolution are one. With us women, poetry and freedom are one.
Thank you.
I wanted to, since we're talking about balancing various genres that Ma did so brilliantly, I wanted to end by reading a very short poem of hers, which is, she told me about the acrobatics of writing, which I didn't know when I translated it, actually, because I did this book as a surprise birthday present for Ma. It's a bilingual book of my translations of her poetry. I thought this very short poem was about the multitasking that is inevitable in every woman's life. But when Ma read the poem, she said that to her, she had written it as a way of expressing the balancing act that every writer has to go through. মাদারি ভেবেছে সে বুঝি খুব সুন্দর মাদারি খেলা জানে, দুহাতে সময়কে নিয়ে লোফালুফি, এখন তখন দুটোই নাচাবে দুমুঠোতে, হেঁটে যাবে দড়ির ওপরে, ভেবেছে সে সব কিছু পারে, জীবনে একবারই শুধু দড়ি কেঁপে ওঠে। The acrobat. She thought she knew acrobatics rather well, that she could juggle time with both hands, play with the now right next to the then. She would make both dance, she thought, fist to fist. And she would glide so smooth along the tightrope. She thought she could do absolutely anything at all. Only once in your life will the rope shiver. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everybody who's shared their readings of Nabaneeta Dee's work. I think what's been most beautiful is that everybody's brought a piece that really means something to them, and they've selected and chosen something that has a really strong emotional connect. And I don't think I need to emphasize once again, you've seen for yourself the wonderful range of voices and of tones and of the ability to balance, as she was talking about the Madari, this ability to balance so many different kinds of ways of being a writer. There is one way left which I am not going to be able to read now, but this recent translation of Nabaneeta Dee's Chandrabuti's Ramayan is her translation of a work to which she was very committed, 16th century woman writer Chandrabuti, who wrote the Ramayan from Sita's point of view. As many of you may know, Nabaneeta Dee was a scholar of epics, and she was in the academic field. She was one of the most qualified people who'd done every kind of postdoctoral degree you can think of, and held many, many important positions, very lightly held, because she was always this other person who had all the fun and the humor and the adventure and the wit. But as part of her serious academic work, her work on epics was very much part of her life. And the Chandrabuti Ramayan has just come out. It was a work which was almost ready. She even saw the cover, I believe, of this book before she left us. But it is available now. It's been brought out by Zuban. I had the privilege of being able to read it in preparation for today, and it's a wonderfully translated work. It reads so smoothly, and it's got a very, very sort of everyday idiomatic use of language, reflecting the way it was written by the woman who wrote it originally, Chandrabuti. So I will ask you, if you are interested in that kind of thing, to certainly take a look at this book. And now we are out of time, and I would like to bring this session to a close by thanking everybody who's on stage with me very, very much for agreeing to come here and to share your memories and your love for Nabaneeta Dee in this tribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anjum.
What a warm session we have had right here. I would like to seize the moment to thank our respected delegates for this session: Soumitra Chatterjee, Aparna Sen, Antara Sen, Nandana Sen, Samik Bandyopadhyay, Anjum, Katyal. A round of applause for our delegates, please. Thank you so much. For more details about our delegates and about our programs, kindly check the website www.aklf.in.